Hello. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you, wherever you are, whatever time it is. Welcome to my channel. Okay, so ultimately, right, I'm gonna do a real quick essence reading. There's been a lot of stuff going on, y'all. Been a lot of stuff going on. Happy March. The um sign comes out, then it'll just come out. But for the most part, it's just gonna be me identifying different things it is that will be going on right now, right? I do have the Murder of Crows out with the spiritual contract. Knight of Wands, right, is the first card out. So that's telling me that it's going to be about the awareness that comes within one rushing in with their inspiration, not necessarily walking in their inspiration, with their not being a part of a third party situation. And the other portion of this, right, is going to be and things of that nature. Some of the things that could go on. And also, it's given that whole aspect with these two. I was just thinking, youth warrior sage, right? And what it is to be a sage, right? The youth is pretty self explanatory. That's the maturing aspect. And then the warrior, right? Again, that's kind of self explanatory. It's the fighting. And in this regard, it'll be about the spiritual fights, spiritual battles, different things it is that'll come into place with that. And then last but not least, it'll also be in regards to the sage. Now, the sage is a combination of all of those when you have reached that level of mastery, right? And then we also have this Knight of Pentacles, right? One coming in with an offer, right? And this is giving the spiritual offer and it being a tower moment, right? So that's so basically things that we got coming in together, right? Is that accompaniment of if you midheaven or the teenager aspect, Aries, Leo is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, right? But as definite identifiers, it'll be the rising sign Sagittarius and the rising sign Virgo, right? Or Sagittarius coming in or Virgo coming in, and that's the tower moment, all right? And last but not least, right? Overall essence of Queen of Pentacles, what it is to be emotionally stable, or even financially stable, and what provides that stability. Some of this other stuff is that what it is that will be going on with Jupiter and Mercury, right? I want to say Jupiter is still in retrograde, so that's going, or it did Jupiter go to ret, right? Well, I'll look that up and then do a reading later. But ultimately, right, what is going to be coming into fruition is check your Sagittarius and your Virgo placements, most certainly, and within the doing of love that comes into place over the course of a month, and there being a strategy and robberies, right? Okay, so this is kind of giving the whole name situation, but the doing of love is Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, being real nurturing and stern in what it is they would have nurtured in the spirit. One of the things I was coming last night, right, was who are you even when you feel and believe that everyone is against you, including God? We've all had those different situations that go on and come into place where we feel like even God don't like us, okay? We're not gonna sit up here and play like that don't happen. But who are you even when you feel that you are in the complete midst of the wilderness, so to speak, right? That's the time that you show who you really are, what you really stand for, and what is really important to you. Okay? So paying that some attention in regards to the doing of love and what your spirit is. And even I'm hearing something about spirit animals. Oh, that part of that is because we're going into Chinese New Year. Okay, if you have any understanding of what Chinese New Year is, it'll be about the year of the horse, right? And if you remember that race, I want to say the horse was the one that helped the rat, right? And then the rat was the one who jumped over the horse, and that's how it started. it started the wheel for the Chinese New Year. Okay, so being mindful of that as well. In the Kipper deck, we got some bad health. So within the Lather of Mathematics, this is going to be talking about paying attention to circulation. Definitely, it's going to be talking about circulation with the Sagittarius and paying attention to your innards, right? In regards to what will be going on with that Virgo essence, the veins, and pay attention to what will be happening in your chest, in your heart, and in your legs, varicose veins. Pay attention to varicose veins and like blood clots and stuff like that. Is kind of what I'm getting from that. And then within the bad health, there not being a courtship, but there being a commitment. There being a marriage or a commitment. In short, not being part time, but being full time in the community. Hmm. Being this is giving a whole committed to community service, so to speak. Is kind of what I'm getting, and the immaturity that will be coming into place with in short, it not being a full blown or full grown commitment is what this is giving. In short, how one's health, bad health, isn't a full on commitment, right? Or is a contributing factor to what goes on with commitments. Message, overall essence for Kipper Deck. So, and what else? Main female mature woman. All right. So within this whole, in the alchemical aspect of things, is going to be about the celebrations that come into place with courting a mature male and there being, and the main female being a mature woman, right? That's going to be what will be incoming for those who are the alchemical aspects. But in regards to it being the main female, not being a main female, not being a mature woman, uh, not courting and not marrying the mature woman, main female, right? So in short, is who are you? Is what it would be given. The who are you, right? And even in regards to that, is given that whole masculine aspect. And if you're a woman that has a lot of masculine, or if you're a masculine sign, right? Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Virgo wants to come out a whole lot right now. So it's given how Virgo essence would be in that reactionary fixer portion within the doing of love. Also, pay attention to what the ending would be. It's kind of what I'm getting from it. Opposed to in the beginning, it'll be about in the end. It'll be about in the end. Some of the other things that's really like coming out, right, is going to be in regards to what it is that will go on in the dream state. Pay attention to what your dream state is and who you are as an individual, right? Some people only have, say, for instance, one, you can talk about the particular dreams it is that you have, but in those dreams, it would be a lot of symbolism that you have to pay attention to. I personally, I don't dream in black and white. I dream in full on color. And within me dreaming in full on color, it gives me a different perspective than others may have, right? Ultimately, it'll be about what it is to pay attention to those pairing up, and in the event that one would be clearing out and what the bad health is in regards to how it is that one would relate and connect to a person, and the wisdom that comes into place with gentleness and diplomacy, and one not communicating praise, but not communicating, not being praised, and there being truth, and then there being the not transforming, not being an intuitive, and not being patient. ensure what patience is, but they're being protection. Okay, so well, okay, this is what this is giving y'all, right? Part of it is what a tangle web we weave when we plan to deceive, right? Pay attention to those people who are around you, right? And the deceptions that would come into place because deception can be so many different things, all right? And 11:11 when I said that. Sometimes, like surprise parties. Yeah, something surprise parties. You really shouldn't do surprise parties in the beginning when you're dealing with an intuitive. Part one, part two. If you know that the person that you're with is an intuitive and they have multiple gifts, why would you try to surprise them if you haven't really anchored things with them? I'm pretty sure that was part of the messages that are on my channel. That's what they were really trying to convey. That was what was trying to be conveyed. Part one, part two. You have to stick to what it is you set as an intention, right? And one of the other things that's been coming to me a whole lot, and I bear witness to this because I have literal scars to prove it. You can't go around protecting everybody when they get in their karma. That's the gentleness and diplomacy that comes into place with it. You can't take on somebody else's because then you'll get fucked up behind it. That's the intuitive nature that comes into place with one being protected, right? That's that portion. The other portion of it is from what I'm getting from this, especially if this is supposed to be a love reading and there being a rebirth of things, um, you don't delegate your relationship. Delegating your relationship, asking your friends to help you. You shouldn't ask your friends to help you in a personal relationship unless you're going to be on that level of intimacy with your friends. Because at the end of the day, it's just going to be you and that person um, in the relationship. And one of the things that I know is Libra, yeah, Libra been coming up a whole lot. Um, Part of that is going to be a part of the justice aspect that'll come into place with it, but the other portion of it is one thing that I've always noticed about Libra essence, right, mine included, is going to at the highest vibration it'll be about justice. At the lowest vibration, it'll be about what everybody else thinks is best for you, and that whole what's acclimated in the safety in numbers and the that comes into place with the whole ideal set of one not communicating, one wouldn't have been communicating, and there wouldn't have been a transformation, and that would be the protection that comes into place with it, right? As far as the alchemical aspect, it'll be about communication, praise, and dishonesty, and then there will be the transformation of intuitions and patience. And patience. I'm saying patience. In short, what it is to shift paradigms from being an intuitive to being a patient. Some of his Aries essence didn't really come out, right? But it definitely would be dealing with the thought processes that comes into place with what makes a courtship really. What is a courtship, and what and realistically, if you know, there's a difference between courting and dating. Dating, you can have multiple people that you date on a very regular basis. I don't care if it's twin flame stuff that goes on, but that is genuinely just a title that's been used on the spiritual aspect to take advantage of a lot of us who would have been mid vibration when we would have been introduced to it. And as we would have gone to the higher, there would have been an understanding of, okay, this is not what twin flame relationships are about. A lot of masculines, I'm going to say this, have been very immature in the way it is that they would have handled things, period. You're always protecting the wrong people. You wouldn't protect your divine feminine, and then you'll turn around or say what you have to. I've been here, like, if this is what this is pertaining to, it's a constant thing that of intimidation from divine masculines with their divine feminines. You're intimidated by her, and you have no reason to be because she's the feminine embodiment of you. So if you're intimidated by your own feelings, okay, that's what you need to work on. Part one. Part two, put your divine feminine in danger to prove your machismo is egotistical. Part one. Part two is also you disrespecting God. So you get tapped. I'm trying to keep it, G, y'all. I'm still trying to keep it G. But you get that, for lack of a better phrase, you get that ass tap whenever you keep putting a woman that you know has a lot of trauma, you're intentionally impacting more trauma. That makes you a distorted masculine, not a divine masculine. Regardless of what our cards would say, you need to identify those distortions within you. Part one. Part two, divine feminine. If you're working on your masculine essence, all of us should do that, right? You should work on our masculine essence because that'll be what we attract. There's that and that's the whole wisdom behind it. Anything that you want to attract, you first have to become it yourself. Okay, and even if you don't have the money, you have to be a good steward of the finances it is that you already have. Right? That's part one. Part two, overspending. Yeah, when a person overspends or overextends themselves, that's something that y'all need to pay attention to because that's really important in any type of situation. Period. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, okay. So no, I was paying attention to all of these varying aspects and a lot of you'll be surprised who really comes off more so as divine masculine and divine feminine in that regard and as a divine masculine or a divine feminine embodiment, right? The man embodiment, woman embodiment. I've gone over this a couple of times. I don't know if other people got the message or not. But man and woman is the equivalent of masculine, feminine, right? And the third party, right? Because I used to read that way, uh, quite some time ago when some of the followers it was that I had. I'm not necessarily sure if they're around so much so now because there has been a lot of egotism that would have come into place with a lot of different situations. I know I personally haven't really been wanting to do any love readings for this reason that I'm talking about now, because when you have to read for such a generous amount of people, part one, part two, when there are certain essences that are focused on you, right? You have to read it how it is, and if you go back and you didn't take notes, okay, well, third party situation for me is going to mean, the universe, or it's going to be for business. I heard when you intentionally make mistakes. Yes, people will intentionally make mistakes just so they can, just for the drama and the theatrics of it all. Basically, is what that boils down to. You people like drama and theatrics too much, and that's the reason why we having all these problems that we're having in the world because you want to be entertained. You don't want to entertain those people on the outside and make those people outside of you happy, and it will fuck up, all right, y'all, your home life. So much so to where you won't have one. All because there's this need and drive for entertainment. If you want to be entertained, go watch a play, watch a movie. I post movies all the time for y'all. Come on now. Some of this I know is going to be dealing with moon magic, um, because and eclipse, right? The eclipse is coming up, but it'll you'll vibrations, right? If you're a higher vibratory, you'll already have the vibrations locked in with you, and all it's going to do is highlight what it is that you felt in those darker times and what you did with what you felt in those darker times. It'll be put on spotlight during the daytime. In short, what's done in the dark always comes to the light. Always. In short, don't be, yeah, with that whole being sneaky. That's the difference between being sneaky versus having a strategy, because there pay that some attention. The other thing it was that I did notice with a lot of the readings I've been watching and adding it from my personal experience, uh, the divine masculinity in me is what is providing for me. This is where a lot of people keep getting a lot of stuff mixed up and messed up. I personally watch the readings for myself to see what it is that I can improve. It is what it is. Um, but paying attention to what your awareness is. Ultimately, what this reading is going to be about, what it is that happens in one's awareness when one really doesn't have a good pool to pull from when they're dating, right? Other people. And realistically, nowadays, dating another person could be just talking to a person, getting to know a friend, a colleague. All of that would constitute as dating because there's this romanticism that's applied with us as we are getting to know people, right? And the possibility of it all. So, true enough, yes, I did post universe and woman, right? But please don't think that I'm excluding those romantic relationships that involve same sex because the reality is you don't know how God is going to put people together. That ain't your job to figure that out. I don't care who it is. 2211 when I figured that when I said it. That ain't your job to figure out. Stop worrying about what is written and start listening to your spirit. 2222 when I said that, that's a part of master building that comes into place with it because you have to be able to sit with spirit and then also understand that some people read to comprehend, other people read to memorize, and other people read just to be able to regurgitate it back to you. Pay attention to your comprehension. 2349 when I say it. Have faith in your dreams. Waxing crescent moon. Okay. Hey y'all, so me personally, right? I always get the moon phases jumbled, right? And ultimately, waning is when it's coming up, right? And then when you getting the friction together, and then you get the climax with the full moon, and then you get the waxing portion when everything has settled, right? All right. All right, so balance spirituality and practicality, full moon in Pisces. This was some stuff that would have been done last year during Virgo season. Virgo season, and some of the other stuff this is going to be a part of is because last year during Virgo season, there was the month of love, right? It was supposed to be about the month of love and all this other stuff. And during Virgo season, because there is so much compacted in the month of February, all right? So some of the other things you want to pay attention to is let me see, Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio season, or Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces season, however you want to put it, the seventh day of those seasons, and where it is you were born, and all of this other stuff. That no, because that's going to be talking about decans and the moon magic it is that would have been done in regards to what it is you need to release during the waning moon. Now, the other is the awareness of a crime. Yeah, because whatever it was that you people would have been doing, you must have been doing it under the wrong moon or the wrong guys. And you have so many people doing the exact same spells at the exact same time, and none of you are patient. None of you would be patient, and none of you would follow through. It's like you setting intentions, but I heard say what you have to. Oh my goodness. If you're gonna set intentions for something, you need to follow through with what those intentions are. You can't say you want to be with somebody or that someone would be hurting you, whatever, what have you. Sidebar: when I was younger, right, I got called a tattletale because I told that I was being hurt. I did. And it was one of those, I saw it while I was walking and I was like, that's interesting. You're not supposed to keep it a secret. especially if it's in a sexual manner. That's something you're supposed to tell. And I've learned that that's part of the immaturity that's been coming up a lot, and that's what's been brotherhoods. That's what's been binding a lot of you guys with that brotherhood and sisterhood situation. And the wisdom that comes from the crone and the sage portion is to know when it is you're supposed to speak out on something and when it is you're not. If a person is intentionally mentally blocking you, right, or they're intentionally blocking your heart and how it is you circulate, you're supposed to tell somebody. You ain't supposed to keep that to yourself. What's wrong with y'all? Work through your fears. New moon in Scorpio. So that would have been some stuff that would have happened, or would I heard already happened. Yeah, that would have been some things that would with that moon in Scorpio, new moon in Scorpio, and even in the whole new moon, the darkness, the unknown aspects that come into place with how a person would feel and all of these other variant aspects. Okay, so let's get this last little portion with what it is you know and the knowing more that comes into place with it. Especially with the planet, the way that the planets are circulating right now, that is going to definitely have an effect on you, and it's going to amplify your intentions. A lot of people always like to focus on, oh, excuse me, a lot of people like to focus always on what will be going on with Mercury, but you all don't pay attention to the abstractness that comes into place with Uranus and the similarities between those two, just the same as Neptune's similarities with Venus. In short, what it is that you would communicate as being rebellious, and what it is that will be projected as being love. So being paycheck and inheritance. In short, knowing what the paycheck and inheritances are. And then there being defeat of one waiting, the defeat in one's virtue and science, okay, or there being movement. Okay, so yeah, this is the Thoth deck. This is one, there are two decks that are given. Hurricane, you talk about that too. Absolutely. But there are two decks that are given, right, in regards to tarot studies. Some people get a Rider Waite deck gifted to them. Others get a Thoth deck gifted to them. Others still, right, would just simply find and be pulled and drawn to it. I'm one of those people who was drawn to it. It called out to me. I followed my spirit. I connected, right? That happened when I was 12, right? But ultimately, right, in regards to this, that whole winning at all, the ideal set of not only winning at all costs, right, but paying attention to what cost it is that you would have to pay in this intuitive aspect of what it is to wait, what it is to it, what it is to be drawn according to and based off of what it is one would desire, right? In regards to this financial aspect, or even in regards to what happens with a paycheck and there being inheritances. One of the things that's been coming up a whole lot, right? Yeah, is people realistically marrying for money? They only want to be with a person because they know that there's some sort of inheritance that'll come along the line, or making a commitment only because of the financial aspect. I'm very disappointed in you all with that. I really, really am. Um, oh, okay, say what you have to. Because a lot of people, especially with this candle magic aspect, yeah, at one point, I don't know if anybody else can attest to it, but I certainly can. I know that people were doing death spells on me simultaneously, and what was happening was the spirits were coming to me and communicating to me what was going on. Well, what I did was to offset it. I made an offering to that spirit and to those lineages to shift it. Oh, and I do want to say this on here, and then I'm gonna post it. I have no affiliation with Fifth Degree Tours. I just noticed that that would have been something that could have possibly been a problem for me, right? Because I am Fifth Degree, right? That's my poet name. And I said this about 2, 3 years ago as well. I don't think people really paid a lot of attention to it then, but you get what I'm saying. But yeah, ultimately, with in the spiritual contract, uh, one when it wouldn't be a third party situation for some of you guys, right? With Sagittarius and a Virgo, that's a Tower moment, and then the doing a love portion, that'll be a part of the sneakiness or the strategy. In short, that you know what it is, y'all. It's that how Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpios, for whatever reason, they don't. It takes a while for them to be able to control their empathic nature. I've not ever really understood how it is. uh, how it is. You could be a water sign, you don't know how to check your emotions, or you don't have emotional intelligence. So pay that some attention as well. But yeah, so some of the things that would be going on, yeah, within and how Sagittarius wouldn't be celebrating uh the Virgo aspect or the awareness, highest vibration, the awareness of things wouldn't be celebrated in regards to being a young adult. And there being this and being a fool. No, 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 no. Yeah, because on the one hand, you can't play the song, right? I love the song Immature. I love the group Immature, right? Batman, Romeo, LDB. And if you know, you know with Don Fernando. I'm going to just leave it there. That's the musical influence of it, right? But within those guises, right, what it is that took place and takes place with being immature and that song, I'm Not a Fool, right? Please don't break my heart. Well, when you put that out into the universe, 3333, when I said that, when you put that out into the universe that you're not a fool, but then you turn around and do foolish things, what do you think is going to happen? Part one. Part two, when you're on the fool's journey and you have all of the, or you're being foolish, and in the foolishness, it'll cause all these varying situations, right? Especially when you're trying to win at all costs in a situation for twin flames. I'm not big on the twin flame thing, but okay. Uh, for those people who are, if you're being a fool, God ain't gonna give you nobody who gonna literally set you up for failure. Stop saying that. You get stuck with people like that when you don't do what you're supposed to do. Like I learned, I got stuck with people like that when I didn't pay attention to what was going on, and when I didn't read the card, and when I didn't correlate the information. So there's that portion. The other portion of right that I'm pulling from this, right, is the fool's journey, or having a have within one having a new beginning, right? Having a new beginning, having another chance, or even paying attention to what you would constitute as, oh, I was naive. Setting intentions in the state of naivety is not an excuse for poor choices. We're all adults here. You should have learned that by now, even as a young adult, with whatever it is you did. Now, because something it was that I saw was, say, for instance, all of us have dealt with this, unfortunately, having a loved one pass away due to some sort of violence. Did you pay attention to the chain of events that happened that led to that person's demise? And are you putting yourself in those positions, right? Now, it's not necessarily, no, because October, because October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Love isn't supposed to show up in Domestic Violence Awareness Month. You know why? Because those people aren't loving. You do have to show love to those persons, and there is a certain amount of patience. But your compassion capacity needs to be set, because what can happen is those people who have been abused will take on the perspectives and the dynamics of their abuser if they do not allow themselves to heal within having a new beginning. A new beginning is supposed to be that you're supposed to be healing and you're going on this journey and you're adapted a different mindset or an elevated mindset, right? In regards to it, especially within one not being recognized, um, and I'm hearing 6 weeks ago. It's one of those I didn't see I didn't see you or I didn't notice you, 6 weeks ago. And one's inspiration not being organized. No, because one of the things that I noticed that happens is telepathy is a two-way street. If you're not receiving messages from the other person, if you haven't picked up on what that other person is feeling, then that means that you out of alignment. You are very well out of alignment, and that is a classic case of narcissism. That's a control mechanism that can and will and do come into place with things. And well, everybody has a little bit of a degree of narcissism because you need a piece of it, right, to set boundaries, right? And you have to understand that your no means no, your yes means yes. When you say no, it don't matter what the hell it is that's going on. It's one of those I said no. I said no, I can't do it. Because you would, especially if you're an intuitive, you would have seen these things come into place. For me personally, I see them happening years in advance. So I take the necessary steps so that either I don't be a part of it, 3811 when I said that, so that's an 1111. Either I don't have to be a part of it or I'll be away from it so it won't be a problem, right? I'm not a part of, and sure, are you a part of the problem or are you a part of the solution? And if you view things at a problem solving area, you may need to raise your vibration. 38, 33. When I said that, because you should be solution seeking. Everyone knows what the problems are, but what is the solution? And are you bold enough? 38, 44. When I said that, are you bold enough to stick in the solution opposed to continuing the problem? You'll be amazed how many people like the attention that comes from being a part of the problem, right? Being a part of the drama. It's certain stuff that I don't necessarily say because I know that it be artists, it be a part of their libraries. And I personally, I've gotten my ass handed to me behind mentioning people's names one too many times. So it's one of the, heard they've done a lot of spell work and candle magic. You'll be amazed what people do. It really doesn't matter to me because I know how to heal myself. Now, if other people don't know how to do that, that's where healing is really important. I do when people get consultations from me, they get what it is that they would need in order for them to heal themselves. The problem that comes into place with that is the bad health that comes into place with paychecks. People don't like to pay you. People want it. They want it for free, which is fine. But when a person can't give you stuff for free all the time, you just leave well enough alone. And you got two options. Yeah, that's where that stealing portion comes into place, right? The stealing and the theft comes into place. And then on the other portion of it, that's where you get karma and you get that ass tap behind it. Again, I'm not associated with fifth degree tours, one or two. That ain't got nothing to do with me. 40/40 when I said that. So there's that portion. And then there being the influence of an offer. You want to know what this is giving? The difference between, I heard something about cycles. No, it could be with cycles if that's what is pertaining to you. Yes. But what is really given is what would be in regards to your intuition and thought, and a person being intuitive in what they do. It's all in what you do. That's what I should name it. Especially in regards to there being lust and what it is to be dirty or materialistic. The irony that comes into place with it being that with the Queen of Pentacles being constituted as in reverse, being constituted as dirty or materialistic, is the dirt it is that one would do in order to gain materials, or how dirty or grimy one would be in order to gain material, right? Now, there's part of that would be about working, right? You can get dirty doing work. You can also get dirty during spell work, right? And you can also get dirty just throughout the course of a day. You get what I'm saying? We're just moving around and all that other good stuff. Wherever this fits for you, right? Yeah, 3 years ago, the materialism that would have come into place 3 years ago when one wouldn't have expanded and they wouldn't have healed outside of their mind. In short, how one would have healed their mind, but they wouldn't have healed their environment or wouldn't have been allowed to heal their environment. Is there anything else in this? So the overall aspect that comes into place with this is, especially if this, because some of this is going to be about location, right? In the tower moments that will come into place, especially yeah, with one not being healed 4 days ago. Um, Within the whole towering aspect, how would have been a lot of different things that would be going on, and then one would have been a star player, and the Uranus aspect, the rebellious nature of there being different episodes that would have been put into place. In short, the difference between making a person being made crazy, so to speak, versus a person who would actually be quote unquote crazy. Now, the other part of this, right, is and then I can give because I'm trying to empty my head so I can go back into the life path reading job. Um, the other portion of it though, right, with Jason, right, every horror person, whether it's Jason, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Pennywise, all of them, they have a particular meaning. Jason talks about 4411, talks about the destructions that come into place and the debilitating nature and the unappreciativeness that comes into place with a person having what constitutes as a mental health disease. I want to say he had Down syndrome. So his wasn't just a mental thing, it was physically shown up on him, 4433, right? The other one, right? Freddy Krueger deals with the astral realm and how it is that people decide to play games there. 4444 when I said that. Michael Myers deals with family generational trauma and generational wealth. You'll be amazed how much generational wealth is or there being an abundance of familial trauma, right? That one would or could inherit. That's why that bad health and not dating and all this other stuff that comes into play. So you can find out where that fits for you. If you like your own personal touch of clarity, you are more than welcome to achieve it at lightworkinglightworkllc at gmail.com. Or, you can make comments, right? I can read the comments. I know how to read and comprehend. You feel me? And then like Pennywise, that talks about the distortions and the insecurities that come into place with children, right? When you're a child, how there are seeds that would be planted in you to have you uh, that are intended as societal programming to have you behave in a particular manner and fashion, right? So just being mindful of that portion as well. Some of the other things, and so on and so forth, like even with Saul, right? The dude from Saul, that's a karmic situation. You made a lot of bad choices. You had a lot of good opportunities. You made a lot of bad choices. You wind up with the dude in Saul. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And then even later on, the girl joined on, along with him. And Hostel. I don't know why that movie's been coming up a whole lot. Hostel. In the movie Hostel, it's realistically it's a hotel that invites you to behave in a certain manner, right? Um, and you don't get persecuted for it, right? And within that, it's a part. It realistically, when you shift the thought process from it being a hotel, look at it as your mind, right? In your mind, you are allotted, especially when you hit that meditative ceiling, right? Where the only way you can move to the next level is to acknowledge your feelings of whatever, of destruction, right? To whatever that situation is. It usually embodies itself as a person, but realistically and functionality, it's an idea set that you need to red rum. Okay, so it's that part. Um, but yeah, I think that's everything. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of downloads. I personally have just been making sure my heart's in the right place before I do the reading, y'all. Y'all know I don't play them types of games. And in addition to that, I had to do a lot of I actually do stuff on a regular basis, y'all. I actually do stuff and I don't do very well with a person intentionally distracted heal or realistically because they don't want to pause. That I personally do because just the same as everybody else, would have their healing work and things of that nature. As healers, we have to make sure that we heal too, so we can help you. Right? We know what works for us, but when you are acclimated or in tune with the person, you have to know what would work for them. Open communication is definitely one of the ways to make that happen and to make that plausible. And you can't lie in the communication. You really can't lie in the communication because that'll be part of that you will have. But yeah, this whole overall essence is about what it is that you would have needed to release or what you would have needed to release or you should have released a while ago within that whole the Bible verse, right? And the verses it is that I post, there are correlating ones in the Quran as well as in the Torah and in Buddhism and all of them. In short, when you have become an adult, you do away with childish things. You want to be childish? Guess what? You get chastised like a child. If you was a child like me that got chastised for breathing too hard, you learn to just keep your distance. After a person tells you, you know what, I really don't like you, or I don't want you around me, or you discover, right, that this is something that will be going on, you do what you have to uphold that boundary. You said that this is how I make you feel. I don't care if that person very shortly afterward they get their ass handed to them. That's not my problem. Just like on the vice versa, right? It's not your problem. You get what I'm saying? God, I hope that makes sense to you guys. I heard something about discipline. A lot of people don't like the word discipline because they believe that abuse and discipline are synonymous, and they're not. That's why they are different words, ladies and gentlemen. That's also the other reason why it is I post definitions on my page because I know people don't like. I'm a word person. I've always been a poet. I've been writing poetry since. I go ahead and say what you have to. I won the writing contest when I was in like first grade. A lot of people don't know that because they would be childish, right, in their beliefs and naive in their beliefs. I'll say childish. I won't say naive because there are a lot of things that I talk about with people, especially those people who are in my city and who claim to have known me. Those are all things. Yeah, because it's an accomplishment, it could constitute as being intimidating. It shouldn't be. Yeah, it's not supposed to be intimidating. It's intended to accomplishments are intended to show a level of mastery and the ability for that person who's made that accomplishment to teach it to someone else. And sure, a lot of you people, 5151 when I said that, a lot of people make the mistake of sending their help away because of their pride and their ego. You'll send your help away all because, yeah, all because you're mad in that moment, right? So it's that I heard, can you get an angel card? Yeah, I get an angel card. Let's see what the angels have to say about this. Yeah, okay. Whenever y'all ask about angel cards, it be a whole bunch of stuff, y'all. Yeah, because with the angels, sometimes with the angels, it says one thing in this deck. I got to get another deck for angels, and I haven't forgotten about that. I just put a pin in it in my head with the deck situation. Um, this deck doesn't have all of the angels in it, and when you know more than what it is you have available to you, yeah, if you know, you know, right? Yeah, because Uriel has been coming up a whole lot. Samael, Gaziel, okay, Ishmael. That sounded like those 200 angels with the Book of Enoch. And I'll be honest with you, that movie was not as good as the book. It wasn't. It was so much more in the book. It was so much more in the book. And it also even gives a breakdown and a depiction of the demonology aspect and the demon that it would be the dark side of the angel. So I'm not gonna go into that, right? But have you asked your angels for help with this? Right? I love this about angels, period. I really, really do. And you have to accept that. Here's the deal that comes into place with this particular card, though. When you ask your angels for help with it, you have to acknowledge that that person or is a representative of the angels. A lot of people don't like acknowledging it. They don't. And you just gotta, your angels want to help you with this situation. However, they require your permission before they can intervene in your free will choices. And sure, don't ask your angels for help with it and then turn around and get upset when they start taking certain things from you, because that would be the connecting factor. And then sacral chakra, you are highly sensitive to chemicals, additives, processed foods, and essences right now. I say essences, not energies, because typically it's a person who would do work on me who has that name. Just a reminder. And essences right now. Respect your sensitivities. Respect your sensitivities. If you're not gonna respect you and you're not loyal to you, you can't claim that anybody else is disrespectful or disloyal because you're not even loyal to you. All they are doing is reflecting what you are already doing to yourself. 5511 when I said that. Respect your sensitivities by avoiding harsh items, situations, and relationships, i.e., right? And overall essence is books. So some of this might be in an actual book that you have read. Some of this will be in your journal entries. Some of this will be even in on Facebook or threads or all of it. So wherever it fits for you, right? Your life purpose involves writing, reading, editing, or selling spiritually based books. The way this is worded is backwards, right? Or it's kind of jumbled up because you have to be able to read and comprehend before you can write it, and then you have to be able to write and understand what editing is in order for there to be the selling of a spiritually based book, right? All right, so it's that portion. The other part of that is What a Smile Can Hide. If you read the book, What a Smile Can Hide, thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's my book, right? It's under I want to say it's under Janet Marie Burns, right? And it has Touche. That's my pen name, right? But What a Smile Can Hide. It's on sale on Amazon, so you are more than welcome to learn about that portion of me. I wrote it down. Give me some constructive criticism, right? Because if you just criticizing and you haven't even read the book, come on now, let's be real. But What a Smile Can Hide. Now, as far as the deck portion, right? Um, I went to a food share and it was a person by the name of Jada who lost her card while I was there. And then in addition to that, I received a deck, right? I accepted the deck for a few different reasons. I could feel that it was incomplete and there was some stuff going on with it. But I accepted it because I know that I'm the person that was assigned to know your mission. You better know your mission. If you don't know your mission before you supposed to know what you're supposed to be doing. So I accepted the deck, excuse me, so that I could see exactly what it was that was going on with it, and then I discarded it. Okay, so yeah, because if a person is giving you an incomplete deck, 9 times out of 10, that would mean that they would have held whatever cards that are missing, and that would constitute as the tie to it. And I'm sorry, but if it doesn't have a Hierophant in it and it doesn't have a Magician in it, the Hierophant and the Magician, right? In the tarot aspect, as it pertains to theology, the Hierophant would be the God card, the Magician would be Jesus. A lot of people don't want to agree with that. I'm not here to debate it. I'm telling you what it is. I heard you getting it right. I'm telling you what it is. I'm not telling you nothing additional, right? But yeah, it didn't have the two realistically more prominent cards in it, and then it had an additional King of Swords, and then it was missing some other cards. What it was given is one of those what constitutes as a double deck, that sometimes we purchase or we just combine two decks, right? And within the combination of the two decks is like in whatever other deck it is, they would have two God cards and two magicians, and they would be missing a King of Swords, and I want to say it was something going on with some Pentacles or whatever, what have you. And short, and even the number was off. It was only like 76 cards, 73, 76. I want to say it was 76. Well, technically it would be 75 cards in it because the other one, but it is what it is. But yeah, hopefully that helps you guys out just a little bit. Gave you a tad bit of an inclination as to a few different things it is that will be going on. If you'd like to schedule your own personal search of clarity, you're more than welcome to do so at Lightwork and Lightwork LLC at gmail.com. Pay attention to what your Uranus sign is in ultimately, because Uranus is going to be going direct in Taurus very shortly, and I want to say it's supposed to take place during Mercury's getting her micro braids done. So you really want to pay attention to how it is you communicate what's stabilizing to, with, and for you. And her say what you have to. If you're the type of person that prefers to talk on the phone and FaceTime and all that, communication is, yeah, communication by email doesn't count. That's just a vampiric type of situation that would be going on. All right. All right. So light and love to you guys. Okay. I hope everybody has a really good day, has a really great Monday. Right. And has a really great week. Treat your Monday like it's Friday. Right. That'll help you get to Friday so much faster, and it helps you appreciate your staying power and your lasting power all throughout the course of the week, right? And in addition, oh, that was the other thing. With the moon magic, what it is you do on Monday, what do you release on Monday? Versus, yeah, what do you release? What do you let go of on Monday? Art is the same as following somebody's instructions, but you don't give them credit that you following their instructions. It depends on what you're talking about because I know one of the things it is, especially with the whole fifth degree tours that'll come into play. That would be them stealing from me because those are fifth degree is a direct manifestation from me, and I know that fifth degree tours wasn't existent when I was doing poetry. Fifth degree tours didn't come up until I started doing making the ancestral offerings. So that's complete theft. That's just complete spiritual theft. So them getting their ass handed to them, I think that just goes to show me that God got us be looking out for your girl and wish them well. No, I don't wish them well at all. You stole from me. The hell on some damn word. And it'll be different if they would have made an offering, and if they would have made an offering, and when I put my cash app up, if I keep yeah, because that'd be something that be bothering me. It's one of those if you don't like the if you don't want to use Cash App, don't come to readers like me who have to use Cash App. That's you using me, and you deserve whatever you get behind it. You deserve it because you're using me, and you're intentionally cutting me out of my paycheck and my inheritance so that I could live, just so that you can have some more abundantly. No, that's not what healers are here for. We're not here for that for you to use and do whatever you want to, and that would be a reason why you wouldn't get an angel's help. Period. That'll be a reason why you wouldn't, because you're stealing from them and you treating them like dirt. And I've been treated like dirt a lot by a lot of different people on a very regular basis. But because I know what my mission is, it's one of those. Okay, I let mommy and daddy handle you. I let Yahweh, Asherah, Sophia. Right, I'm in my Sophia stage. If you know, you know. You don't, you don't. And for the demiurge people, if you know, you know. You don't, you don't. Um, but yeah, hopefully that helps you guys out just a little bit. If you like to schedule your own personal touch of clarity, you are more than welcome to do so at Lightwork and Lightwork LLC at gmail.com. Okay, because see, remember, light work, it ain't light work. It is not light work. It's not light work, right? And just as a reminder, I utilize universe in place of whatever deity because I know that I've read for quite a few different people. They've given me inclinations. I have a little blue elephant. I got some tigers around here. I got different ethnicities making offerings and stuff in regards to me in that. In that regard, I'm going to revamp what it is I say at the beginning. Thank you for those donations that people have made to me in 3D, in real life. I truly appreciate it. You guys, y'all to go. Thank you so much. And thank you for those people who have sent up genuine prayers, Prayers, for me. I appreciate it. I truly appreciate it. And last but not least, in regards to something that I heard that was very bothersome about a person making a petition that I can't pray. I was praying, I was intercessory praying. I was praying on y'all behalf that y'all could make it through the karma and things based out of what it is that you've done. But since you don't want me to pray for you, I understand it. Everybody, I understand it. I totally understand it. I've been in that position before where I wouldn't want a person to pray for me, so I'll talk to mommy and daddy about that and let them know that I recant my prayers of intercession so that you guys can be okay. And then that way you can stay light while you work